morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Right, before I commence with all the usual stuff that we do on here, I just wanted to say a few words about our dear friend, good mate and fellow YouTuber Dave Oliver, who sadly passed away last weekend. We were all pretty much devastated, lost for words. I think Rick, you said you can't believe how fast it all happened. It was pretty much within a week. I won't go into the details now because obviously we all know what happened. But it was so tragic, so tragic. I was first introduced to Dave's channel via, I believe, Scott. I believe Scott introduced me to it. Basically said, you know, take a look. He basically got a similar style to yours. You'll love his videos. And from the minute I turned the first one on, I thought, yes, I like this. I definitely like this. A lot of the YouTubers have got pictures tumbling about all over the place, images and weird sound effects and this, that and the other. He had the same idea as I did, just sitting with a brew or a beer and just talking to me, you know, and that's the magic of his channel and his presenting style, was that he made you feel as if he was talking to you. He was a lovely guy. I never had the privilege to meet him. I wish I had. He was a lovely, sweet guy, always thinking of other people. His content was just brilliant. I spent so many of my videos talking about his reviews, his trailer reactions. Pretty much every week he gave me something to talk about for at least 5 or 10 minutes, sort of comparing notes on things that he'd seen, reactions to trailers that he'd watched, all that kind of thing. I loved his content. I absolutely loved his content. My most enduring memory of Dave is that one night I put a post on saying that I'd watched, or I was going to watch, a certain movie. I think it was on a Saturday night, and I can't for the life of me remember what or which movie it was. But as soon as that post went on, I got a message on my phone from Dave basically saying, I've just started watching this myself. And we spent the next 90 minutes sort of intermittently texting backwards and forwards, you know, did you get that? Did you understand that? And can you believe that just happened? It was a lovely 90 minutes. I kind of felt like I'd watched the movie with him. And that is one of my most enduring memories of Dave. I sincerely hope that they're not going to take his channel down, because he's got an incredible body of work on there. And I don't know about you guys, but I would love to keep referring back to his videos, and I certainly won't stop talking about them, that's for sure. So as I say, he's one of the nicest guys that I never met, and I really wish that I had it done. I think we'd have had a lot in common. I certainly would have enjoyed talking to him about the horror movies that we've watched. That was his main passion. It was movies, and specifically the horror genre. And he spoke about them with such passion. He had such enthusiasm for them, and that's what I'll always remember. Dave, you are sadly missed, mate. You are so sadly missed, and we ain't gonna forget you in a hurry. That is a promise. So right, I'm going to take a quick break there, and I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. Right, we'll crack on the way that we usually do and see how we do. Comments on the last video. I'll start with Mark. Morning, Mark. I've never heard of Phantasm, and having searched it, it sounds like a movie I'd give the thumbs down. But having said that, this DVD display case looks amazeballs. It's absolutely amazing. I was so surprised to get that through. I was, as I said last week, expecting something like a DVD, or at best a Blu-ray, or maybe a book or something like that. So when that turned up, my God, I was so chuffed with it. I do remember looking at it on, it was either eBay or Amazon, a few weeks earlier, and I think I might have commented on one of the videos that I would love to have one of those, but I believe it's sort of deleted and out of print or whatever you call it. So there was pretty much no chance of getting it, and then that turns up. So again, thanks ever so much, Chris. Really do appreciate that. It's a cracking set, Mark. It really is. Looking forward to getting into the actual movies now that I've got that. It's not displayed on the shelf behind me. It's actually on the fireplace behind me. You can't see it because it's behind the heater. But when I get those books off the shelf, that will be taking pride of place on there, that's for sure. Well done to your missus, by the way. She's in Ghana at the moment, isn't she? So yeah, hats off to her, mate. It's not something I could do. So yeah, you must be so proud of her. You really must. So thanks for that, Mark. Scott, amazing video, Tony. Loved it, mate. Short and sweet. I think we were all pretty much lost for words last week with everything that's happened with Dave. So I totally get that. Dave Taylor. Hi Tony, I watched the original Crow the other day, as it has been mentioned on here a bit recently. We do seem to have gone a bit Crow mad just recently on here. I had seen it once before. Will I watch it again? Probably not. I have seen it. I'll be coming back to that in a bit when I'm chatting to Callie, because it was her that sort of put me onto it. You also put, I have to say I've been holding back on this one for a while, but here it comes. Oh my God. Close Encounters. I didn't like it. It did nothing for me. Yes, the effects were good for the time. Maybe it's because I don't believe in UFOs. Maybe, I don't know. It's not for everybody, Dave. It really isn't. It is, as far as films go, it is my main passion, along with a certain other one that we won't mention again. But it really isn't up everybody's street, as you will find out a little bit later on. So thanks for that, Dave. And also thanks, Mark, for your comments, by the way. Scott, no. Oh, here we go. Scott, thanks for the little comment that you left, mate. Sorry, I was on another planet there. Jason K, our Ginger Ninja. Morning, Jace. Awesome vid, mate. Got me through the lull at work. I'm glad I serve a purpose. Post Malone. No idea why he was cast in it. Makes no sense, but very reminiscent of the Ed Sheeran appearance in Game of Thrones. Just in there for the sake of it, I guess. I can't even remember Ed Sheeran being in Game of Thrones. I do remember reading something about it some weeks before, that he was going to be in it, but completely went over my head, that one. As for Post Malone, I will look it up. 100% agree with the Scream Shout Factory imports. I really would have run out of room and money a long time ago if I was able to watch them here. Yeah, same here, mate. Same here. Every time I see a Scream or Shout Factory release, I think, oh my God, I would kill for that. And very few of them actually make it over here on other labels, as I'm sure they don't make it over to Australia either. And it's such a shame. And it's this damn region locking thing again. If it wasn't for region locked Blu-rays, I would be importing them, and I would probably start with Shout Factory and Scream Factory. So yeah, I totally get that. There are two movies that I stopped watching about 10 to 15 minutes in. Bigfoot versus Zombies and Sharkenstein. My God, they sound dreadful. I did eventually watch them in full, but they took a few attempts. I'm not surprised. That Phantasm set, wow, that is amazing. It is, believe me, it's a thing of beauty, and I can't wait to have it on the display on the shelf behind me. I must get those books down and get that up there. But yeah, it's a cracking set, and Chris did me proud with that one. So pleased. So thanks for that, Jason. Much appreciated. Guy, great vid, mate. Thanks, Guy. Absolutely no offence was taken, silly boy. I thought the sweary intro was excellent. I did wonder whether I'd gone too far with it. Like I said last week, it's one of those things that you do and you look back on it a few days later and you think, oh, did I go a bit too far with that? I don't normally swear like that on here, but you didn't seem to mind. Let's see. The latest episode of Higgis has a song for you. I know it has. I've watched it. I'll be coming back to that shortly. Crap movies. Definitely give them a rest and catch up with good stuff you've not seen yet. I'm not going to give up on them. I do enjoy the odd rubbish movie. It's just Velocipaster took crap to a new level. I really, really, genuinely did not enjoy that one, even though I sat through the entire 70 minutes of it. It just did nothing for me. It wasn't funny. I can't even imagine it being one of those movies. You know, a lot of these crap films, you think, you know, if I've got a load of mates with me and I was pissed as a fart, I'd probably really enjoy that. I don't think this falls into that category. I think the reviews that I read out of the movie the week before were funnier than the actual film was. So I won't be giving up on them, but I won't be bothering with quite so many, and I will be a little more selective about the ones that I do actually watch. So, yeah, Need a Life on Mars update. Has Rob seen it yet? No, and neither have I. I've not progressed with it either. I do need to bring that one up. I'm 3 episodes in, and as I said last time, I don't want to go any further with it until I've found out whether he wants to watch it or not. I really don't want to get halfway through like series 2 or into Ashes to Ashes and then for him to say, "Oh, don't mind watching that with you." So I will bring it up. It's by the TV in there, and it's only a matter of time before he picks it up and says, "What's this?" And that's when I'll introduce it. But I'll perhaps mention it a little bit later on. He's not the biggest fan of police dramas, but saying that, he's hooked on In the Line. Is it the Line of Duty? Line of Duty. We've watched 3 seasons of that and absolutely loving it. So he's kind of shot himself in the foot with that one. But I will bring it up, and we will, I'm fairly sure, be watching it because I've enjoyed the 3 episodes that I've seen. I've loved them. So request Doctor Who update, please. Same. I've only watched the 1 episode of the Patrick Troughton story, The Underwater Menace, and that was a few weeks ago. I need to get back into it. It's been a funny few weeks. I'm desperately trying to get to the stage where I do these videos ridiculously early in the morning, sort of 5-6 o'clock, and then it leaves me the rest of the morning to watch TV, movies, all that sort of thing. But I'm not quite there yet. But I've not given up on it. I've got probably 3 episodes of that one to go, and then I'll move on to the next story. But it's kind of stalled at the moment, but don't give up on it. Kim Kardashian, oh, she can just fuck off. Do you know what? I quite agree. Kim Kardashian, or that whole bloody clan. What is the point of them? I'm not going to go into a rant now because I'm saving that one for when I find out a bit more of what she's doing with American Horror Story. I didn't think it'd work with Lady Gaga when she did the hotel one, but actually she was really good. She was really good, and she's proved that she can act. A bit like Madonna, she's proved that she can act many, many times. But Kim Kardashian, fuck off. No, thank you. Steve Mack, thanks for that guy, by the way. Steve Mack, Lena Headey was Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones. Of course she was. Yes, I can picture her now. Summer Glau was in Firefly TV series and the spin-off film Serenity. She appeared in Arrow. I've not seen any of those, I'm afraid. I've just basically never shown any interest in any of those series, and I don't know why, because Firefly sounds right up my street, but never bothered with it. And I know nothing about Arrow. Post Malone is an American rap artist. He has a distinctive tattoo, DDP, on his forehead after his daughter. There's no way I'd have known that. With him being a rap artist, I have no interest in rap music whatsoever. None. Zero. Nada. So I would not have got that. But now I know who Post Malone is. So I'll take a look for him in Roadhouse if I give it a second viewing. Rafifi is a famous Jules Dassin film. It is a heist film and has a brilliantly clever silent sequence in it. You've sold me on it already. This is one that I definitely wouldn't mind a look at. I do remember listening to a podcast a few weeks ago and thinking, now that sounds interesting. So you pretty much just sold me on that with that description of the silent sequence, which I really, really want to see. So thanks for that, Steve. Jason P. Morning, Jace. Great vid, mate. Those 60 minutes went quick. Thanks, I really do appreciate that. As I said last week, I still don't know what you lot find so fascinating about me sitting here with a cup of coffee just talking to you, but I'm certainly glad that you do. Definitely stop watching crap movies. You're missing out on so many good movies, and in brackets, Middle Earth collection. Why do you always go for the 26-hour epics? I will take a look at the Middle Earth collection. I've got a week off from work in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to dedicate a morning to the very first one, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, I believe it's called. Seen as a certain person treated me to it on Blu-ray, the whole box set, which includes the Hobbit trilogy as well, and they're all the extended versions, so I do need to watch them. But as I'm sure you can appreciate, 4 hours in a row, certainly not during the week. He won't watch them at the weekend because he's not a fan of sort of fantasy type films, so it leaves me very little time to actually watch them. The only time I can watch something like that is when he's not here, and that is when I'm off work, which is hopefully going to be in a couple of weeks. So I'll let you know how I get on with that one. Can't be doing with Channel 5 dramas. All of them have been shite, even Coma the other day. I only watched it because people were saying it's good. It was crap. It wasn't. I quite enjoyed it. We've maybe got a different idea of what drama or what good drama is. I'm not even going to try and explain that comment because I don't understand it myself. All I will say is that we enjoyed Coma. There are a couple on there that I do want to take a look at. Love Rat is one of them. There were a couple of others. We looked at them, and it like Channel 5 is like this goldmine of dramas. Seeing as we enjoyed that one so much, we're probably going to take a look at Love Rat at some point. But I know you're not a fan of the Channel 5 one, so I'm not going to pursue that one. I've probably turned about 1,000 movies in the last 40 years. I wish I could say that. Maybe if I went through every single year on the IMDb and jotted down every movie I've seen, oh God, I would probably make 400 or 500. I'm not sure. If it was 1,000, I'd be very, very surprised. So you've done well with that. Can't sit through a bad movie, not wasting my time on shot. I don't blame you. I really, really don't. I'm trying to sort of divide my time between new movies, old movies. I wouldn't say crap movies, but I'm not. Yeah, all right. We'll call them crap movies because that's what you call them, and all that. And it's I'm still trying to get into some kind of a routine of watching movies regularly. It will come, so don't give up on it. Lena Headey. When I see this name, I just think of her in black leather bondage gear in Band of Gold, fit as fuck. I remember Band of Gold. It wasn't a bad series, actually. Was this the one to do with prostitutes, if I remember right? Yeah, you see, that's the kind of thing that Rob would watch. He would love Band of Gold. Don't ask me why. I just know for a fact he would like that. So maybe that's a series to track down if it's streaming anywhere. That might kill a few Saturday nights. 1984 is my favourite year for movies. I was asking everybody this. Come on, guys, let me know what your favourite year is and name me 3 or 4 from that year that illustrate that. You've put Police Academy, Gremlins, Ghostbusters, Terminator, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Karate Kid, Beverly Hills Cop. All cinema gold. Wow, what a year. As I say, mine was 77. Oh God, I couldn't name any off the top of my head apart from the obvious ones, but I do remember again listening to a podcast a few weeks ago where somebody was picking their 5 favourites from 1977, and then they were going through a list of all the other movies that came out, and it was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Oh God, I've forgotten about that one. There's so many of them, and I get the feeling probably 1984 will be the same. I get the feeling you'll remember a lot more as the weeks go on. So yeah, guys, just let me know what your favourite year in movies is, and just sort of illustrate it with 3 or 4 titles. It was also my favourite year for movies, for music, I should say. 84. I would probably go myself for 80 or 81, because it was the beginning. You kind of seen the end of punk. Which I adored, believe it or not, and I could never ever have admitted that at school, believe it or not. I loved punk music, but everybody thought that I was more into like ABBA and Brotherhood of Man and all this sort of stuff, because I usually used to say that's what I was into. I dared to admit that I was into punk. I don't know why, it just wouldn't have sat right with me or anybody else, but I loved it. The Sex Pistols were just awesome. But I diverse and I've forgotten what I was on about now. Oh yeah, yeah. You'd seen the end of punk in 1980, and obviously you got the beginnings of the new romantic movement, which I absolutely adored. I loved every single one of them. So I would say probably 80 or 81, as far as music goes, anyway. So I thought your gift off Chris was sweets or confectionery because it's written all over the box. I didn't even look at the box. It's down here actually, but I'm not going to reach for it. I'll take your word for it. That's where that came from. I was wondering why you thought it might be confectionery, but there you go. Talking Pictures sometimes show a British movie called The Sandwich Man. Worth a watch. Loads of different cameos from well-known British actors. It's an okay film too. I know The Sandwich Man. I've not seen it. It's a Tony Hancock film. It's one that I've always meant to take a look at, and I will be doing so. I mean, I love Hancock. Absolutely love it. Hancock's Half Hour. Don't know whether you like it. It's an early black and white series from sort of the late 60s, early 50s. Late 50s, early 60s. Sid James was in it, played his flatmate. There were some classic episodes of Hancock's Half Hour, The Blood Donor. I like the economy drive. That is my favourite episode, believe it or not. It's a lesser known one, but I thought it was hysterical. So if you enjoyed The Sandwich Man and you like Tony Hancock and you've not seen it, try and track down Hancock's Half Hour. I'm fairly sure BBC iPlayer will have episodes on there. I would have thought so anyway. But yeah, I will definitely have a look at The Sandwich Man. He did another one as well. What was it called? Can't remember. There's another Hancock movie. No, it's gone. I'll have a look. But thanks for that, Jace. Much appreciate all of that. Right, Higgis. Morning, Guy and Callie. The Indiana Jones franchise you were talking about. What a cracking episode. Really enjoyed this one. I'm passionate about these movies, so yeah, I really enjoyed this one. You were engaging in a little banter before, as you usually do. You were talking about Stranger Things, which is the episode that you did last week when you had your guest. Was it Jimmy Lee Clifford? And you were saying that you hoped that the last season, I think we're 5 seasons into it now, you were hoping the last season wasn't going to be sort of a damp squib like the last season of Lost or Game of Thrones. Lost, oh my God. I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but it seemed like every time you got to the end of a season and you were getting close to some kind of an explanation as to what the hell was going on, it sort of went off on a tangent somewhere up there or somewhere up there, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go again. And I stuck with it for, I can't remember how many seasons, was it 8 or 9? And it came to the last season and I just hung my head and said, do you know what, I can't be arsed with this anymore. I'm not going to bother with it because I just know what's going to happen. And I saw someone a few weeks after the final season had finished and said, did you watch it? And he said, yeah. I said, well, what was it all about? Just tell me, because I can't be asked to watch it. He says, I have no fucking idea. He says it just ended abruptly with no explanations whatsoever. Thanks for that. So that's 90 hours of fucking life I'm not going to get back. So I'm really glad I didn't bother with the last season. It did cross my mind a few weeks ago. Would I want to watch it again and just give it another go? No, do not. A little voice in my head said, don't do it again. Do not. And I'm not going to. And as for Game of Thrones, loved it, absolutely adored it. We watched it religiously. Came to the last season and we thought, this is going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. Everybody was on about the final episode. This is where it's all going to get wrapped up. Everything's going to get sorted. There's going to be some right royal fucking dust-ups. Oh. And then you got all the publicity surrounding it before it came on. It was like, here it comes, the best episode ever. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Here it comes. Oh, is that it? And I thought, oh my God. It was that last episode. It was just awful. It did nothing for me at all. And I thought, what a loner. And like you said, Callie, it is only now going to be remembered for that last season, because that's the nature of people. They will always look on the negative side of things. Don't worry about the first 7 or 8 seasons that were absolutely superb. all people are going to concentrate on is that final season and the fact that it absolutely didn't work. So yeah, I completely get that. The Crow remake, should they have done it, and does it trample all over Brandon Lee's memory? Oh, it's a difficult one. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I said a few weeks ago that I absolutely would not watch the remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal. No, absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with the Patrick Swayze version. Absolutely brilliant. He was superb, and I basically thought the same as you. Is it gonna trample all over the memory of Patrick Swayze and the original movie? And I was as surprised as everybody else was when I basically said that I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I really, really did enjoy Roadhouse. I was going to do a standalone review on it, but I haven't had the chance to do it yet. But I was so surprised when I actually enjoyed it as much as I did. I thought it was brilliant. And I don't know why. I just think Jake Gyllenhaal's character or characterization of Dalton, it was completely different to Patrick Swayze's. The whole thing was completely different. The setting was different. The villains were different. The story was different. The only thing it had in common was the Roadhouse. So I went into it basically expecting it to be awful and thought, you know what, I'll watch this because it's the movie of the moment. Everybody's talking about it, and probably everybody wants me to take a look at it just to see whether it's as, as bad as I think it's going to be. I thought it was going to be more bone-crunchingly violent, and that's pretty much it. The rest of it's going to be a load of old crap. It wasn't. I really, really enjoyed it, and I was surprised how much I actually got on with it. So as for The Crow, I don't know. I have seen it. I have watched the original. You challenged me to watch the original movie, which I did yesterday, and I really, really enjoyed it. It wasn't my kind of film, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can definitely 100% see why this movie calls out to you, Callie. I can absolutely see why you like it so much. It is a complete gothic nightmare, but it was just really, really well done. Very comic book in its style. Ernie Hudson did not realise he was in it. He was superb, absolutely brilliant. Brandon Lee played the part superbly. Tragic what happened to him. Altogether, it was just, a good film. And it's getting a 4K release in a few weeks, and I'm sorely tempted to buy a copy of that and watch it again. That's how much I enjoyed it. So yeah, you were right. But will the remake trample all over the memory of Brandon Lee? I don't know. I mean, I would like to see the sequels, and I would also like to know whether that TV series, is it Stay Away to Heaven or something like that, is worth a look. Because if I'm going to watch the original, I would really like to take a look at the sequels as well. But I seem to remember you and Guy not being dreadfully impressed with them. But I don't know whether you mentioned the series or not. So I'd be curious to know what you made of that. But as for the original Crow, yeah, absolutely. Loved the song that you did for me, by the way. At least it wasn't a complete bloody earworm like that last thing you did. So, thank you for that. Son of Pertwee thanks you from the bottom of his heart for that one. I've been looking for Has Been Hotel. You mentioned that as an animated series that's worth watching. I can't find it. I may have found it by the time you watch this, but if not, just drop me a message and let me know what it's on. And as for X-Men 97, I was so surprised when you said how good that was. I mean, I haven't seen the original series yet, and I really would like to go back to the beginning and watch that from the start before I tackle X-Men 97. But yeah, I'm really pleased you enjoyed it, and I'm glad it's not turned out to be the complete nightmare that you thought it was going to be. What else have we got here? Guy, you've actually started Stranger Things. You said you weren't going to watch it, but you've actually watched season 1 and you're halfway through season 2. Hats off to you. I have seen season 1. When it was first mentioned last week on Higgis, I thought I really need to watch a recap of Stranger Things series 1, which I did. And there were a lot of scenes in that recap that made me think, I can't remember that bit. I don't remember that either. So it's possibly one that I will need to go back and watch again. I have got the basic sort of premise of it, but there was a lot in there that I don't remember. Sunday nights used to be Stranger Things night. I used to watch Stranger Things and an episode of Cobra Kai, and I basically left them both at the end of season 1 for, I think it must be the best part of a year. So I do probably need to take both of those in again and then continue with it. But I'm really glad you're enjoying it, Guy. She's proved you wrong as well, by the sounds of it. Indiana Jones. Your favourite, both of you, is Last Crusade. Now, I controversially said a few weeks ago that is probably not so much my least favourite. Well, I suppose I did say that, kind of. I would generally go in the order that they came out in, as favourites go. My number 1 will be Raiders of the Lost Ark. My second one will be Temple of Doom. Third is Last Crusade, followed by Crystal Skull, and also Dial of Destiny. So, but then Callie decided to go on a kind of a booze-fueled rant about Crystal Skull. Oh, holy shit, that was quite a rant, Callie. Fuck's sake. You don't like that movie at all, do you? You left us in no doubt whatsoever that you absolutely hate Crystal Skull with a fucking passion. So I fall into Guy's camp on that one. I'm afraid I didn't enjoy it the first time round, but the next time I watched it, which is decades later, only a few weeks ago, we watched the whole franchise, winding up with obviously Dial of Destiny, and I enjoyed Crystal Skull a lot more the second time round than I did the first time round. Can't explain it, that's just how it was. So I've kind of got to disagree with you on that one, but I do absolutely respect your hurricane of an opinion. I wouldn't fancy arguing with you, I'll tell you. But yeah, you left us in no doubt that Crystal Skull is not your favourite in the franchise. Guy, you were saying that you could only that you only basically want the movies. You're not bothered about the TV series, the comic books, and all that sort of thing. You only really sort of love the movies. I kind of feel the same way about the Star Wars films. I prefer to anything else the original trilogy, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I didn't enjoy the prequels much. I've not read any of the books. The only comic books I've got are the original Star Wars weeklies from the 70s. Again, it's where you start. If you do it chronologically, according to Disney Plus, you would start with the prequels. So maybe it's something I need to get into. I'm just not that bothered about any other Star Wars films apart from the original trilogy. But there is a whole universe out there of Star Wars stuff, so I really do need to start with it somewhere. I just hope I can make it through it before I die, basically. So, but I will have a go at the prequels. I may start sort of chronologically and dedicate maybe Tuesday nights when I'm on my own to Star Wars, and just start from the beginning and work my way through it. But I do tend to agree with you, Guy. I tend to, stick with the originals, and you can't really go wrong. So, right, that's Higgies. Great episode, guys. Looking forward to seeing what the next one's all about. I know, Guy, you're not on it, so I'm guessing that Callie will have a guest presenter on that one. So looking forward to that one. Right, I'll just take a quick break. I'll be back in a sec. And we're back. Right, where were we? Jason P. Your never seen thread. You've gone for When Harry Met Sally this week. Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. Brief synopsis. Harry and Sally have known each other for years and are very good friends, but they fear sex would ruin the friendship. I actually watched all 90 minutes of this, and I have to say that all 90 minutes of it was shite. I kind of saw that coming. How did this do so well? I don't know. It was awful. Even the famous orgasm scene wasn't funny, as I'd seen it so many times on other things in the past. Yeah. Normally, after I've watched a film for this thread, I leave it for a few weeks before I post. But I just wanted to get this one out of the way. You really didn't enjoy this one at all, did you? I thought it was all right. I saw this a long time ago. I'm a big fan of Woody Allen's movies, and to me, When Harry Met Sally was very reminiscent of a Woody Allen film. So I quite enjoyed it, but I can definitely, absolutely 100% see why you didn't. Definitely. Mark, you hated it too. Jason, you replied to Mark, just awful, mate. I watched a movie last week for this thread, and that is yet to be posted, from 1985, and it was so good. Sometimes I watch something and regret not watching it sooner. Then there's ones like today where I knew it would be shit, but wanted to see what the fuss was about. I have 6 movies in the bag for never seen, and only one of those 6 was NAF, so I may do that one next week to get another NAF one out of the way. That's probably a good idea, actually. Mark, you replied, same mate, I watched When Harry Met Sally many years ago just because of that one scene, and totally agree. The whole film, including that scene, is utter and complete rubbish in my opinion. Not many fans of When Harry Met Sally then. So looking forward to next week's, Jace. If it's going to be another crap one, yeah, it's probably best to get that one out of the way. Right. TV. I don't talk about TV very often, but we've just started watching, and I didn't realise this was on, Prisoner Cell Block H, believe it or not, which we used to love years and years and years ago, but haven't seen it since. Now, Channel 5 are screening it from the beginning. They've been doing it for quite a while, apparently. There's something like 120 episodes already on their streaming service. So we watched the first 3 last night, and do you know what? I'd forgotten how bloody good that series was. I used to love it, absolutely love it, and I still do now. So I put 3 episodes in. I'd forgotten how bloody good this was. Good old Channel 5 for picking this up and showing it from the beginning. The only one I'd love to see run alongside it is Sons and Daughters. I used to watch that religiously as well on a sort of weekday afternoon. I'd love to see that again. Jason, you were talking about Prisoner. We tried to give it another go but couldn't get into it again, so gave up after 5 episodes. Seen it all once, said that's enough. Wentworth is the one to watch if you've not seen that. Wentworth was like Prisoner Cell Block H on crack cocaine. It was mental, brutal as hell. I'd forgotten how brutal Australian TV and cinema could be until I watched that. You could almost say that Prisoner Cell Block H was a little bit campy back then. Well, not back then, but certainly is now. Back then, it would have been quite controversial looking at the storylines that we've seen so far. But Wentworth is on another level. It was a brilliant series. It was a great reimagining of Cell Block H, and it was a lot better than I thought it'd be. But it was pretty nasty in parts, you've got to admit. But yes, I have seen the whole of Wentworth and loved it. And you put 692 hours of good movies could be watched in that time. That's too true. I'm not going to give up on movies on Saturday night. It's just that Prisoner is a nice thing to end the evening on. It's just 45 minutes. You can't be asked to watch another film after you've watched one, so stick a Cell Block on. And if I've got 692 to watch, then I'm looking forward to it. I've not seen a lot of the earlier ones. I didn't join it probably till about 200 episodes in. So all of these are fairly new to me, but I'm enjoying it. Julie Croft, you've not commented before. Hiya, Ju. I used to go to school with Julie. I loved watching that. I went into labour with my son, and I wouldn't go in till it finished. Bloody hell. That's serious dedication to a TV programme, that is. So yeah, we're going to be watching Cell Block H on Saturday now. I wouldn't be at all surprised if one goes on a little bit later on today, actually. Right, couple of bits of news. Let me just scroll down a minute. Hang on, let's get to Close Encounters. Oh, yes, here we go. Close Encounters has been getting quite a kicking and a battering just recently. There's 1 or 2 people that have watched it that have never seen it before. And let's see what we got here. Close Encounter. Jason, you thought it was shite. I kind of thought you'd enjoy it a little bit, but you didn't. Guy didn't like it either. Mark was my last hope. He put on that he was watching it, but it was no, he thought it was shit. But he put, sorry mate, but I'm 50-50 on sci-fi movies, but nearly 50-year-old sci-fi, it was never going to fall into the positive half for me. Oh God, where do you start? So my only hope now was Chris, and he does like it. He enjoyed it, but thank God for Chris. So we've got Jason thought it was shite, Guy didn't like it, and Mark thought it was pretty crap as well. So, oh, never mind. Daddy still loves you, and Chris still likes you as well. So, oh, so sorry. Don't worry about it. They know not what they say. So that's that. Right, hang on. Let me scroll up again. A couple of bits of news. Stephen King's Christine. A remake is coming our way. Stephen King's classic story Christine is revving up for a Blumhouse remake. That doesn't bode well for a start. The last couple of Blumhouse movies, the one I saw recently, Night Swim, bloody terrible. And Imaginary, the one about the killer teddy bear, that isn't faring much better either. The reviews of that are pretty awful. I've not watched it, and to be honest, judging from the reviews, I probably won't be taking a look at it. So if it's been made by Blumhouse, it doesn't bode well. With the advancements in filming today compared to the 80s, King's novel will be seen again with more modern filmmaking techniques that can resurrect the famous Plymouth in all its glory. So basically the special effects are going to be better. Oh, special effects do not make a good movie. Guy, I'll reserve judgment until I see it. Not hopeful though. Judy Croft, love that film. Don't know about the remake. I don't know. I'll take a look at it, but I almost certainly know that I will fall back on the original. Almost certainly. If the only thing the remake has got going for it is better special effects do not make a good movie. Well, not on their own anyway. So we'll see how we go with that one. But I'm not like Guy. I'm not hopeful about that one. The other thing was Knight Rider is getting the movie treatment from James Wan of all people. Michael Knight is gearing up to make his big screen debut. It has been revealed that James Wan, who basically came up with the Conjuring universe and all that sort of thing, is set to produce a Knight Rider movie. The idea is to bring the classic 80s series starring David Hasselhoff back to life with a present day reboot. Yeah, we kind of got that. It's not out of the question for David Hasselhoff to return in some capacity. It is stressed that the movie will be set in the modern day. Hasselhoff did say last year that Knight Rider will ride again. He was right, it turns out. Now, I've not seen this series. It's one that I've always wanted to take a look at. I've seen sort of bits of parts of it, or snippets of episodes, I think it's on the Legend channel. And the bits I've seen of it, it looks all right. But whether it's one that I could watch all the way through, right the way through 100 and something plus episodes, I don't know. But in my experience, most of these movies based on TV series hardly ever work. I've only known 2 or 3 that have ever sort of landed right for me. That was Charlie's Angels, which I thought was great fun, and also Starsky and Hutch, which also didn't take itself too seriously. All the others I thought bloody terrible. I suppose you've got to sort of make an exception for the Mission Impossible movies, which I haven't seen, but I know they've done remarkably well. So I'm guessing that I probably would enjoy them. But I don't know. I'd have to see who's directing, get a trailer under my belt and this, that and the other before I make some sort of a judgment call on it. But I would like to take a look at the original series, so I will be having a look on Amazon to see whether they've got a cheap box set of at least season 1 that I can take a look at and get some kind of an idea of what I'm in for. But as for the movie treatment, I mean, if anybody could make it work, it's probably somebody like James Wan, an established director. But we'll see on that one. The other sad news we got this week: Louis Gossett Jr. You posted this one, Jace, passed away. I mean, he's famous for his movies: An Officer and a Gentleman, The Deep, The Choir Boys, which was absolutely brilliant, based on a Joseph Wambaugh novel about a group of beat coppers. Toy Soldiers, that was a good film. Iron Eagle, that was a good one of his. Firewalker, never seen it. That's one he starred opposite Chuck Norris, I believe, in that one. I think that's on Talking Pictures TV a lot, so that's one I maybe need to take in as part of my Chuck Norris journey, which has not even started yet. Enemy Mine, don't remember him in that one, but I got that off IMDb. So, and also the incredible Jaws 3D, which I purchased on Blu-ray a few weeks ago, with the intention of taking a look at it. It's the only Jaws movie, apart from Jaws the Revenge. I've only seen the first two, that's right. I've not seen Jaws 3D and I've not seen Jaws the Revenge, but I bought them both on Blu-ray, seeing as I've got the first two to take a look at. I'm guessing he's not particularly proud of that one. He had, believe it or not, I didn't know this, 212 acting credits. This is obviously movies, TV series, radio dramas. He did a lot of radio dramas, i.e. The Twilight Zone. That's an incredible body of work. And the story that I read about him, let's see, he was cast in An Officer and a Gentleman after Jack Nicholson turned it down. Jack Nicholson wasn't available. So they did some research on a naval base in Pensacola and found out that the best drill sergeants were all African American. And that's when they went to Louis Gossett Jr. and the rest is history. So my favourite movie of his is by far The Deep. I love The Deep, and I will be having a look at that one very, very shortly. So let's see what else have we got here. We're still with TV with this. Sapphire and Steel, do you remember them? Joanna Lumley and David McCallum, fantasy series kind of. Really, really good, but very unusual. Big Finish Audio Adventures have now re-released some episodes of the radio drama that they did. I think it was about 2005 with David Warner of all people and Susanna Harker. Not familiar with her. So apparently these are being reissued. Everybody on YouTube is saying, they can't wait to listen to these and this, that, and the other. I've never listened to a Big Finish production. I was tempted by a couple of the Tomorrow People stories. I think Stephen Vaughan, is his name Stephen Vaughan, plays Stephen in the series. I believe he's still in it. So I would like to listen to those, but as soon as I read this, I thought, you know what, I used to love Sapphire and Steel. I didn't understand it, but I absolutely loved it. So I'm probably going to start my Big Finish journey with one of those. We went to see Joanna Lumley in Nottingham at the Royal Concert Hall. She was doing a one-woman show where she basically talked about her career and took questions from the audience. It was a cracking night. She talked about her days as a Bond girl on Her Majesty's Secret Service. She talked about Sapphire and Steel, and somebody in the audience asked her whatever happened to them because the series ended very, very abruptly. And she just kind of looked at him and went, still up there somewhere, and this proves it. So yeah, I will be purchasing one of these to see what they're like. Guy, have you got any of these Big Finish productions? I assume you've got some of the Doctor Who ones. Let me know what they're like, because I could almost see me building up quite a library of those. And here's me trying to thin things out, but yeah. Jason Kerr, you posted a trailer of the Monster Mash movie, and you put, I think this could be the perfect movie for Tony. Oh my God, how right could you? You are so right, honestly. I mean, tell me that this isn't a homage to not only the Monster Squad, but also the Universal monster movies of the 30s and 40s, i.e. Dracula, what have I got here? Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and also the Abbott and Costello movies. They did a lot of meat movies, as in Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy, meet Dracula, meet Frankenstein. It looks very similar to that, and it looks like a cracking homage to those. Homage, I believe you call it now, not homage. So I would love to take a look at that. It doesn't look crap. It looks amazing. I think it looks great. So yes, that's a good call. I will be taking a look at Monster Mash. That is for sure. Um, and if we're talking about crap movies, I found one yesterday. A picture from one that I posted. I've never ever heard of it, but it sounds interesting. Matango, Attack of the Mushroom People from 1963. Does that sound right up my street or not? Yeah, I'm going to be taking a look at Attack of the Mushroom People if I can track a sort of a decent quality copy of it. Right, Jason, you watched Bob Marley, One Love. This is the Bob Marley biopic. Um, it didn't fare very well, did it? That lasted just under an hour. No nonsense from our Jace. Mark commented, I couldn't understand what they were saying. That's why I turned it off. And Mark, you also said you enjoyed Ghostbusters, thought it was better than Afterlife. Assuming this was Frozen Empire that you went to see, the critics are absolutely ripping it to shreds. They hate it. Kermode loathed it. Everybody hates it. And I don't know why. It can't be that bad, surely. I enjoyed Afterlife. I'm fairly sure I enjoyed this one. Jason, you also watched Imaginary, which we were talking about earlier. This is the Killer Teddy Bear movie. Well, that lasted 20 minutes before it went off. It's another one that didn't fare well. It's not one that I'm particularly bothered about, to be honest. As I said, I watched Night Swim a few weeks back and was distinctly underwhelmed by it. You see the name Blumhouse and you automatically think it's going to be a cracking horror movie. It's not the case nowadays. A lot of these are landing just nowhere near where they're supposed to land. I didn't like it, just didn't enjoy it at all. It wasn't frightening. If anything, it was boring. And I'm fairly sure that Imaginary is probably going to be the same thing. Again, it's going to be a case of the trailer being better than the actual film, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. What else have I got here? I'm actually coming to the end of it. Believe it or not, just bear with me while I just scroll down here. What have I got? Kino Lorder are an American DVD and Blu-ray releasing company. They're releasing a movie called, let me get this one, Number One of the Secret Service. I can't believe I've never heard of this. It stars Nicky Henson. Nicky Henson was in Witchfinder General, one of my favourite ever movies. It was also in, not The Sorcerers, what was that one? Psychomania. He was in that. Loved him in that. Richard Todd of The Dam Busters and also Asylum, which was a horror movie. Amy MacDonald, classic 70s comedian. Sue Lloyd, who basically was in Crossroads and also starred in The Stud and The Bitch, two of my favourites. Dudley Sutton, who was in a lot of the 60s sort of Lou Grade series like Department S. He turned up in most of them, Department S, The Champions, The Persuaders. He was in most of them. And my dad, John Pertwee, is in there. So now, I want to see this movie very badly. I've watched the trailer to it. It looks amazing. Caroline, you were saying that it's been on Talking Pictures TV. I haven't seen it on there, so I don't know. But I definitely want to take a look at it. Now, Kino Lorber are an American releasing company. I believe their discs are region locked. The only way that I'm going to be able to see this movie is to either catch it on Talking Pictures TV or another streaming service or download it. It's the only way. And this is what I was saying the other week about if we did away with region locking, we wouldn't need to worry about any of that. You would do away with all of the people downloading movies and this, that and the other. Certainly for me, I would rather import a copy of something like that than download it any day of the week. So that's my little rant on that one. Caroline, you put great cast. I love Nicky Henson. Great in anything he was in. Have you seen Gumshoe with Albert Finney? That's worth a watch. I haven't seen that one for ages. I remember that being on quite late on ITV as it was back then before it became Central. And I enjoyed it. I can't remember much about it. He plays a private eye, I believe. In a northern town. is part of it set in a bingo hall or something like that? I've definitely got memories of it, but I can't remember much about it. But I would love to see it again. So yeah, Albert Finney, absolutely. Right, I do believe that is pretty much everything. Let me just have a quick. There's a couple of bit more. Joe Dante and Roger Corman are teaming up to remake Little Shop of Horrors. There was quite a lot of excitement about this probably a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen the original Little Shop of Horrors, neither the 1960 nor the mid-80s version with Rick Moranis. And I believe who plays the dentist? Steve Martin. That's one that I need to take in at some point. But a remake of Little Shop of Horrors, that could be interesting. Scream 7 is now to star Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott after all. She bowed out of the Scream franchise when they offered her much less money that she was much less money than she was on with the original series, so she said she wasn't going to do it again. Since the main two stars walked out, the whole thing has kind of stalled. She's basically now said that she'll come back on board. I'm assuming that they're going to pay her what she's worth, and that's why. So it'd be interesting to see whether that that pans out. Right, I'm going to leave it there because I'm running out of stuff here. Yeah, I can save all that till next week. Thanks ever so much for joining me, folks, as per usual. If you've enjoyed the video, well, hang on, I've got a couple of bits I bought here. I'll just show these off, then that rounds it off just nicely. There's nothing much. It is just magazines, actually. I've had the latest issue of Infinity, which looks like it's got a really nice article on the 50th anniversary of the Tower Inferno with Steve McQueen and Paul Newman. The latest issue of The Dark Side, which I always enjoy a good read of, and the latest issue of Yours Retro, which has got 40 years of Ghostbusters, Star Trek, Budgie, the Adam Faith TV series. So, right, that really is it for this week. As I say, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe and all that sort of thing, and I will talk to you all again about the same time next week. I look forward to reading any comments that you've got. Drop them for me to read out on next week. So thanks again, folks. Take care. Have a brilliant week, and I will talk to you all again soon. Take care. Ta-da.